Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like
Hey, 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 hey,
Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Hey, everybody.
Right now.
Create that energy. Let's
Baby,
go.
I'm as young
I'm
as the
Kat, and
night.
this is
I wanna
Brenda.
dance right now.
and you are watching
Babes
Babes Unscripted.
Unscripted. So, my Jackie, I love everything that you've been saying. You are definitely my tribe, right? Somebody who is not only making themselves healthier, but really on a mission to make other people healthier. You have an amazing personality. You come from an amazing family, it seems like, because the keel is amazing. So, tell me, what has your journey been like to become the woman that you are today, right? I find that there's always a backstory to how you got to where you are, right?
Yes, there is. And there's a lot of stories, but there's just few that sticks out to me. And the first one is I'm a teenage mom, right? At 16, so I broke my mom's heart. Okay.
Oh my
Because I was this aspiring
Oh.
student that should have been and could have been and all of that, but I took the wrong route. So I became pregnant and I had a son. And since then, I must say, you know, I at that time I was in Jamaica. I'm from Jamaica, so I came to America and I went back to school and I became an LVN. In New York, it's a LVN. Then I got my associate degree and became a registered nurse. And then I went back, I got my bachelor's degree. And then I went back, I got my master's degree. And then I went back. I'm like a lifetime learner, but I think all of that is coming from me. I'm getting pregnant at 16. But anyway, so I think that was kind of like the first time where my biggest challenge, and I've had challenges along the way. And one of my other challenge that I think really changed my life was, so I have two sons, and after my second son, I always wanted a daughter. And I had 3 miscarriages.
Oh,
And the last one, and I know I'm getting personal, but I have to explain so you and your viewers are going to understand. The last one, I almost died. And when after that, I was depressed, and why is this happening? And that was the point in my life when I realized all along the Lord has been sending me messages and I've not been paying attention. I just was not supposed to have another child. And I realized it later on why I wasn't supposed to have another child, right? And a lot of times the Lord sends us messages, but we ignore it.
yes.
We do. And one of the things that I learned from that experience is everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And when it happens, you might not see or you cannot identify why, but there is a reason. A lot of times you realize later on. Okay. So you shouldn't consider it as a failure, whatever that is, right? I failed out of my associate degree, my first, my RN. That just made me stronger because I knew I had to get it. So I just went back, right? But I think the challenges over my life that has happened to me has made me the person that I am today. And like I said earlier, I love me some me. I love the person.
Amazing. And I love that you said that, because I wanted to ask you, what is your secret to, because I mean, I've been through stuff too. We all been through stuff. We all have our story, right? But what is your secret to get to where you are now and keep positive?
You know what? My mom Two things. She always says she could live with the devil in hell as long as she knows his ways. Okay? So I challenge myself to be a team player and to get along with everybody because everybody is different. I've
Yes.
never
Love
walked in your
that.
shoes, Brenda. I've never
I
walked in your
loved
shoes,
it.
Kat. So I can't judge you because I don't know your story. So when I meet someone, they're always at an A. They have to really mess up to go down to a F because I'm going to give you a lot of chances because I'm giving you grace, right? I try not to judge, and I always try to look at the bright side of things. Another thing my mom always says, don't look at the glass of milk as being half empty, but half full. So I'm always looking at the bright side.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that answered your question.
No, absolutely. And I love that. And you know, the whole devil saying, we have that in Spanish. I just can't repeat it right now because I don't remember, but we have that in Spanish because I think it's mejor diablo viejo que nuevo por conocer, something like that. So it's better to know that old devil than to know a new one, something like that. But
Yes,
Yeah.
the devil,
yeah, it's
Yes.
similar. So that's awesome.
Yes.
That answers my
Another
question.
thing too, I think from that positive mindset that I have, I'm always trying to uplift people and I'm always trying to leave to make a good impression, right? To inspire, empower people to be the best version of themselves, right? Sometimes we don't even know how good we are. Sometimes it takes someone else from outside to really turn that light on for us to realize. So that's one of my charge.
I
Too.
love it. Thank you.
I do love it too. And I actually have been through a miscarriage myself where I almost died as well. So I know firsthand what that takes to go through that. And I find it so inspiring that you were able to go through those experiences and then have this positive silver lining that comes out of it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I think that's the golden nugget, right? If you have said one thing today that I think our listeners can take away is really that, right? To find the message, to find the message in your mess, right? To get you
Yes.
through. I am so inspired by that because for you to, go through your life and be a teen mom at such a young age and now to be who you are now, that this nurse and have a health coaching practice and taken all your struggles and flipped it around to help other people, that's really inspiring. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh, you're
Thank you.
welcome. I think it's my calling to help, right? And maybe I started as a nurse, but even I loved my job and I love the people that I work with, but I just kept feeling like there was something more. And when women, men too, maybe get to my age, a lot of people are afraid of change, but when you get older, you're even more scared, right? Because you're coming closer to the end. But I know I have so much to offer. I know I have so much that I want to do, right? And the only way I'm going to do it and figure it out is if I go out there. Will I fail? Maybe, but not permanently, because I'm going to figure a way to go around it to get what I want, because that's what I usually do.
I'm glad you said that because I've had that fear now that I'm in my 40s. I'm 44 and I'm thinking, oh my God, when I start thinking about I'm going to be 50, I'm going to be 60. Oh my God. Like I start like freaking out, like, but I love.
Okay. So I'm here to tell you, you don't have to freak out because can I say my age?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely.
I'm going to be 60 in December.
Wow.
And what I realized, yes, and what I realized is age is just a number, right? I remember when I was 40, you couldn't tell me nothing. I think I was hotter than when I was 20. But the thing is, it's your mindset, right? And society, and depending on the environment that you're in, sometimes it tries to convince you that when you get to 40, you start going downhill. 50. It's all a
Seriously.
lie.
They put
It's
they put us in a box like,
yeah, it's all a
you're ready
lie.
to die at 40.
Oh
Like,
no. And listen, I cannot fit in any box. I am always the rule breaker. I'm always not in a bad way, but there's always another way. Oh, why do we have to do it like this? Why can't we do it like this? Yeah, there's
I love it.
always other ways for us to do it. So
Yes.
please, Brenda, don't have a heart attack.
No, I think now with Tony's teachings and my mindset definitely has changed to always stay in a beautiful state no matter
Yes,
what.
yes.
And I'm actually reading the law of attraction, and that's one of the things that it also, tells us is to just whenever you're in the negative frequency, stop and get yourself in a positive frequency. So
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the things that I've learned along the way, a lot of us, we sometimes we want to try to change people,
yeah, yep.
and we're always wondering why all these negativities around us. It's because we're
Mhm.
attracting it, right?
Yep,
Mm.
And what I've
exactly.
learned is I need to work on me. I need to show up as my best self. Because when I work on me and show up as my best self, that's the type of people that I'm going to attract.
Yeah.
And if you are not in that box that I'm going to create to be surrounded by, I'm going to walk away from you because you're no good for me.
Amen.
And that's another thing when it comes to hypertension. We talk about exercise, we talk about diet, but stress is a big thing.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Stress is a
And,
big
and,
thing.
and the thing is coming from Latin community, I noticed the difference with the people that I'm surrounding myself now. I just love everyone that I'm working with, all the wonderful ladies that are surrounding me. Because I mean, we are always positive. Like we don't talk about each other. We don't, do any of that stuff. And sometimes when I go back to like families and friends and then I start hearing them and I'm like, I'm not liking this. Right now, I feel uncomfortable. So because sometimes when you're around them, you start kind of like going back to that behavior.
Yes.
So I'm like, I gotta stop this because then you're gonna have me talking about people and I don't want to play or I don't want to attract that negative. I think it's called I forgot the word, but that negative energy basically.
Yes, I agree. I separate myself from negative energy
Mhm.
because I don't want it in my space. I like to
Yeah.
smile. I like to be happy.
So when you feel like you're getting stressed, or if you're in a situation where you're dealing with energy vampires, I like to call them,
Ugh.
right?
Because
Where
they stress you
they're
out. They stress you
yeah,
out.
where they're causing stress, or it's just a stressful environment, what tips do you have for us to either manage the stress or get out of that situation?
Yeah. So one of one of my stress relievers walking, right? I walk early in the morning, it's quiet, I could hear the birds, I could smell the crisp air. That's one of my stress reliever. But like if you're in that situation, first of all, try not to be in that situation, but sometimes you have to be around family, right? You have no control. You have to block out that energy. So for example, because I've had similar situation, if I'm in the kitchen and the conversation is getting negative, I'm walking away. I'm
I love
excusing
it.
myself.
Yep.
I'm going somewhere else. I'm going to go find a different group that I could talk to, maybe the older folks. I'm not sure. They might talk to
Mhm.
about other people, but I'm going to excuse myself to try to find a more positive group.
I love
Sometimes it might be going to talk to the kids,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that might even be what you have to do. If it's a girlfriend that you're calling and each time you're talking to her, she's talking about somebody, you're going to call her less, right?
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
Or when she starts talking about somebody, you're going to change the subject.
I
That's
love it.
that's my only suggestion.
Yes.
Now,
I,
what
I
would you?
actually, I
Oh,
had
go
an
ahead. Go ahead.
experience like that where I love this friend tremendously, but every time that we talked, it felt like her family was the subject of conversation that was
Mm,
also my friend.
mm.
And a past version of me would have engaged in that, but I really just had to keep on changing the conversation, right? Like, what are you up to? What are you creating? What's business like? And then what happened was is that I did stop really engaging with her. And I was very honest one day with her. And I just was like, listen, XYZ. And it really made a difference because she could be putting on a show for me, but I don't think so. She then kind of changed her life, right? And what my words probably really sank in at some point, and maybe there was more that happened after that, I don't know. But when I re-engaged with her, she actually was very different. So I'm not saying that you necessarily have to tell everybody who they are, or like you have to be like, well, this is why I'm leaving. But sometimes just being honest and truthful about it does help. And I had to go through that with her and risk losing the friendship, which we didn't talk for a little while, but I think it actually helped us in the long run. It made us stronger, and I think it did help her. So sometimes I think that you have to read the room and see if that's an option, but sometimes just being really honest, being like, listen, this is what's happening. I'm not comfortable with it, and that's my truth. Sometimes that actually makes a difference.
I totally agree. Totally agree, Kat, because you know what I've realized? Sometimes those individuals that continuously, consistently do the same thing, talk about people, sometimes they don't even realize what they're doing. Sometimes they don't, because it's become the norm, right?
Yeah.
So they don't even realize. So sometimes you have to call them out. If you lose a friend, you lose a friend. They really weren't a friend from before. Most of my friends, I have very few friends. As old as I am, I should have more friends, but I have very few friends because I keep my circle real small.
I think the more positive you become, the more peace you want, the less friends you have. That's been my experience for sure.
Yes. When we talk, we're talking about ourselves. Ourselves. We're not talking about the sister and the brother and the husband and the family. Ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I said this on a previous podcast, but there's a saying that says, small minds discuss other people and great minds discuss great ideas.
Yes.
And I try to live by that, right?
Yeah,
I want to talk about moving forward. I don't mind talking about whatever problems that you're having at hand. And at the same time, I also have another kind of philosophy where it's like we can only talk about the problem for so long, and then we have to start talking about solutions.
Seriously.
Because I'm not here to marinate in your problems with you forever, honey child. You know what I mean?
Let me tell you something. One of the things that I think even I was doing was when I was in a relationship that wasn't serving me. And I kept complaining about it. And I kept talking about it. And then one of my girlfriends, she's a therapist, right? So I was telling her, da, 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 da. She's like, you know what, Brenda, you're gonna have to you have to make that change. You have to make that change. And there's nothing I could tell you to make, either leave him or fix the relationship. So that kind of like stuck with me because I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be complaining. I don't want to be that person that constantly has that problem. Right. Because I had a friend who had a problem with their relationship for 20 years. I would hear the same thing. I was like, oh my God. I was like, please, I do not want to hear about your person. I don't want to say who it is, but I don't want to hear about your person. I just can't. Like you're not going to leave that person. So you have to figure out how to fix it. Anyways, that's just something that, I had to learn myself that if the relationship no longer served me, I'm not going to keep talking about it. I have to find a solution, like Kat said.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So one more really juicy question I want to ask you. If you could go back to your, let's say, 40-year-old self and give her advice when it comes to maybe health and wellness, maybe body changes, maybe just life changes, what would you say? So that Brenda and I can really
That's a juicy question,
everything
baby.
down.
Woo, give me that. Give it to me.
So sometimes I have to be careful who I say this to because I don't want the individual to take it the wrong way. But I believe if I could speak to my 40-year-old self, I would say, do you. Put yourself first. I'm not saying don't care for others, right? I've been a caregiver all my life. It's just now when I'm like almost 60 that it's about me, right? So that's the primary thing I would tell the
love it.
individual that
I love
I'm
it.
telling you right now. So if and I'm not please, I'm not saying you should be selfish and not think of others' needs, and all of that, but you have to put your oxygen mask on before you put other people's oxygen mask on, right?
Perfectly put.
Okay.
Yes,
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yes.
I love that. Thank you so much, Jackie, for being here with us on Babes Unscripted. I
Yeah.
really want to invite you back for a future episode. I think there's so much more that we can talk about, especially regarding maybe female anatomy and the changes we go through, and just all those different juicy things that we can talk about from a nurse's perspective and a health coach perspective. So I
And I
would love
know,
to have you back.
and I know this is our first podcast, right? Interview.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you did amazing, and
I have-
we're honored to have you to be the first podcast.
I am honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. You guys made me feel so comfortable. It's amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Good. You did so well. And just let our viewers know, where can they find you? If they want to get some advice, follow you, get involved in one of your programs, where can they find you?
Okay, so I have a website. It's Piris, Piris, Health Coaching and Consulting. That's the website. I have a Facebook business page that has the same name, Piris Health Coaching and Consulting. But I think the easiest way to get to me is on Instagram, because I'm just coach.jmc. And from my Instagram page, you could get to Facebook, you could get to my webpage, and there's also a link for you to book a discovery call. It's a free discovery call. We just meet, we talk, we see if we're a good fit, see if it's something that I
Girl,
can
you
help
are
you with.
set up.
Yes,
I love it.
perfect. That's perfect. And we will put that link in our description to make it easier for everyone to find.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
She
much.
has been babed.
Thank you.
I love it.
That's our new thing. I'm gonna say that you have been babed.
I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. See you next time, Jackie.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to Babes Unscripted. We hope you've enjoyed today's episode and found it both entertaining and insightful. If you want more unfiltered and unscripted conversations, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified when we post new episodes. Remember, life is unscripted, and we're here to embrace every moment of it with you. Until next time, stay unfiltered, stay authentic, and stay fabulous. This is your host, Brenda Paz and Kat, signing off Babes Unscripted. Bye now.